In this video, I'm going to be showing you exactly why you never get any items on the support role by using a shaman game I recently played where I ended the game with higher net worth than anyone else on the enemy team. It is totally possible to carry games, especially as heroes with solo carry potential. Now, did I 1v5 this game? No, by no means. In fact, I think one of the best ways to win as a support player, like the number one way, is to learn how to call for smokes and get people to do things, right? It's called like the slacks method, if you know what I mean. Like just that ability is great, but at the same time you have this other option of actually getting items and having impact through that way. So in this game, my take is that I want to scale and eventually end the game, right? Because the enemy team is going to have a hard time actually ending if we come out of a decent laning stage. So knowing this, I'm assuming that the game's going to go a long time. This is not the case for many games where they typically go 30 to 40 minutes nowadays, and that's plenty of time to actually get farmed.
Do you want to carry your games but always find yourself stuck in the support role? On gameleap.com, we have the tools you need to take control of your games as a pause 4 and pause 5. With hundreds of guides covering hero specifics and key concepts like ganking and lane control, GameLeap is the place to unlock your potential as a support player. Hit the discount link in the description below to start today.
Now, the first thing I want to mention that enables me to actually have a good game is, first off, my ability to identify the open creep wave. Right, my SF is getting chased mid, being the great support that I am, I'm simply just going to last hit his creeps. Because that's how I roll. No, but honestly, you might take that as like, Speed, you're griefing, stop it, that's not your role as support. No, it's totally fine. I'm just TPing mid to sap a little of XP, and then I react to this dive, right? So my take on this game was that I didn't add too much to the clockwork lane. I just wanted to give him solo XP. He was doing fine. So identifying this and making an assumption, whether it's correct or not, it's, that's Dota in a nutshell. You just have to guess sometimes. But I rotate over, and I'm going to start looking to play in this tri lane, which I think could really help. My Charblade was not having the best of starts, and as a result, I really wanted to help him out and kind of enable his game. And having two ranged heroes is actually a very powerful combo in the laning stage, right? This dual ranged hero combo of, AA Shaman or Witch Doctor Shaman or, Rubik Coddle, like they're all extremely strong in tri lanes. In fact, it's something I highly advocate, which is studying tri lanes. One game in particular that they do it fantastically in is, I believe it was Game 3. Yeah, Game 3 of PSG LGD versus Team Liquid at the TI 9. And that was an amazing example of them tri-laning and actually making use of this double-ranged combo. So check that out if you want to put this into your play. But I really like this for kind of getting farmed because I can avoid dying a lot. And I also can pick up a lot of kills, right? So being the fact that I have high base damage and a nuke, I'm able to pick up 3 kills because I identify that they are going extremely aggressive, right? And instead of wasting my time top, now I'm going to, once again, get a couple more kills in this lane. And yes, I do end up dying, which is actually very bad for my overall goal, but I do buy out, right? So I have my mana boots, and on that death, I bought out the Windlace, which is going to actually secure me the ability to scale and not lose too much gold. Now, honestly, I don't want to focus on the landing stage anymore. I'm going strictly on mid-game for this game. From now on, just so you guys can kind of get a better feel of this. But my main goal in this game was strictly just to defend this tower for as long as possible. So you notice they're diving me under the tower here, but I'm totally okay with this. Even if I sort of end up dying, it's okay, right? I'm even pinging for my support to help me as I had some nice jukes. Sorry, my SF to help me. And, I wanted to defend the tower because this is going to give me a lot of XP. So now they're good players, right? I genuinely believe they're good players, the enemy team. So they dive me because they don't want me to get XP. But what I was doing there is my Terblade wants to jungle, and very often safe laners want to jungle. And what you can do as all of these position 4s, whether you're a Pango, whether you're a Dark Willow, Earthshaker, Earth Spirit, Shaman, doesn't matter, anyone who likes items, you can do this where you simply go take over their lane. And you might be like, well, what if I'm not having impact in the early game then? Well, actually, the thing is, you're going to have more impact a bit later on because you're going to have your next item timing earlier, right? And that's how I like to look at it. I'm kind of shifting my impact just a few minutes back, and I even might have significantly more impact at the same time. So overall, I think it's a big win what I'm doing here. I'm defending the tower. I even luckily juked them and set up a kill for my SF. And now I'm getting even more XP and last hits, meaning that I'm going to be able to get around a 12-minute Aether Lens this game, which is obviously fantastic for this current situation. And now the next thing that I want to do, and the reason why I think Shaman is particularly good for this, and why I like playing a lot of heroes that are good at this, such as Lina and Leshrac for solo queue as a support player, is because what they have the ability to do is simply turn on ability. They have the ability to use their ability and solo kill people, right? So I knew that this Nyx Assassin used stun, so if I hex and go on the Earthshaker, there's nothing to cancel my grip, and I'm able to pick up a kill on the Earthshaker, right? So now I'm getting my ultimate out, I get a solo kill on the offlaner, and a couple more last hits, and this is what I like to call impact. So a lot of support players, they think they just have to, mumbo jumbo, run around and play with their team 100% of the time, and yeah, obviously that has its merit, especially like if your team wants to fight and is playing aggressive, but this game, like, we weren't doing too much, right? And I don't want to give them bottom for free. And at the same time, it's really great, like really, really great for me to have items, right? As we discussed, Shaman loves items. So honestly, I think me being bottom over and over again here is greedy, but I think greedy is good sometimes. I really just think people like look too far into it, where they just overthink it all the time, as I end up sort of feeding. But I pick up another bounty kill. And this is gonna be the main theme here. You might be like, Speed, you keep dying, dude. Now you have 4 deaths. What are you doing? You absolute fool. This is the biggest, stupidest thing I've ever seen. But no, you really have to see what's going on here. If we look at the overall levels, we see a bunch of level 7 heroes. And yes, I did take a tome, but I mean, obviously they could have taken tomes as well. And I'm level almost 9 now, with an Aether Lens at 12 minutes. So yes, I'm dying, but I'm pushing in the lane. I've defended the bottom tower for a long time and enabled a lot of space for my Terrorblade, right? That's impact. That's creating space. It's sort of what I mentioned yesterday, where I was talking about the Necro in the reviewing replays, where he kept ganking. And if you keep ganking, it's actually not always going to draw people around the map. You can drag people around the map and make them do dumb things by simply and strictly by pushing in lanes and going aggressive, even if it's not right next to them. And really at this point in the game, all I'm going to be doing is trying to use my wards off cooldown, right? So if I'm the Witch Doctor in this game, I'm going to be kind of looking at it the same way. If I have my ultimate, I want to smoke and make a play. And that is why in this game, I'm looking to just straight up make plays, right? And now once again, I go back bottom and I find a kill on Viper, right? So I'm just looking to use my ultimate to amplify my farm, right? Even if this it puts me in a position where I can't actually go for a tower afterwards, what is the end result? I can still push down the lane. I'm now almost level 11, right? Which is almost the highest even on their team. And they're losing by a slight bit. So you can see the impact of this, right? How much impact it actually can have. And now look, I'm not fully AFK, guys. This is me calling a smoke play. So yes, I do farm, right? You're going to notice I push in mid here. And this is a big deal. Me nuking in mid is huge. And it's the reason why I like wave clear heroes a lot more than others that kind of lack that ability. Maybe even like a Witch Doctor in solo queue. Because I have that option to simply get in waves and get XP quickly. But now, right, I make this really advanced play. So for all you high MMR support players, you have to consider this. Don't think this is some like low MMR maneuver. This is very high skill in my opinion, and is super high probability to work from my experience. Regardless of how this exact example plays out, is you play bottom, you shove in bottom, and then instantly smoke to top. It really catches people off guard and makes for high movement. And no, in this exact engagement, we sort of just feed. It was pretty trash, so not a great example. But regardless, we're trying to play 4 protect 1 essentially, right? That's just our goal, protect the Terrorblade so he can carry us later on. So it's not the end of the world, really. I'm okay with how things are turning out. And then the second thing is kind of ganking, not always necessarily around your team, and playing with your supports. And I talked about this in the other video as well, but it's so important, guys. This is the game-winning stuff that I think no one does, which is talking and thinking through what kill potential you have. So Witch Doctor plus Shaman is a hecka deadly combo, and I've identified this, right? I'm like, with my Shackles, Hex, and Maledict, plus a Death Ward, we kill literally anyone, right? So I'm going to buy the wards, I'm not playing greedy, I buy the wards, and I'm going to hunt someone like this Viper, right? And once again, we're spreading out the map. So yes, this Nyx Assassin is now on top of us and spooking us. But in general, hopefully you see why I'm getting farmed and why I'm slowly increasing my farm. Do you see how I'm not necessarily just strictly playing with my cores and sitting behind them? That is going to put you consistently in a position with no items and no XP. That is how you consistently have to rely on your teammates, right? If you want your carries to be the sugar daddy of MMR for you, where you have to rely on them for everything, I mean, fine, then continue to sit behind them all game. But if you don't want that to be the case, pick Wyvern, pick Grimstroke, pick Shaman, and push in some side lanes, and maybe even make for some smoke calls like I'm doing in this game. That's how I'm enabling my farm and continuing to make plays, right? I'm certainly not AFK by any means. I've killed multiple heroes. I'm using my snakes near off cooldown, and hopefully you see the trend here, right? And once again, now I'm playing very aggressive. Once again, in the side lane, extremely aggressive. And this kill is value. This is what we call a value kill because it's right next to a tower. Super, super nice for us. But then once again, we see the same thing here. So my team goes bottom, we get the tower, that's all fine and dandy, but I have no interest in holding myself back whatsoever in terms of an item spike. So what I do is I see that I have snakes. I'm like, okay, this is my chance to once again get a kill. I lead with my Hex, I put down the snakes, nuke, shackles, and we get yet another kill. Even a 4-time streak. And finally, the last thing you have to do is when an engagement ends, any sort of fight ends, whether it's a high ground push, mid-game fight, early game fight, doesn't matter. You have to be able to identify the open wave, and that's exactly what I do. Keep that term in mind. Identify the open wave, right? Because that's exactly what I do here. So I get to finish up an entire creep wave, right? Which is going to get me close to my level 15 and a lot more gold, right? I'm constantly looking to farm a wave after I make a play. So that's how I play. If I have snakes, I go kill. If I do not, I am probably going to push in a wave, right? Or I'm going to make a smoke play. It's one of those two things. If it's not that, getting a solo kill with snakes or pushing in a lane, I don't know what it is, right? Like, there are other plays to make, like warding. That's a good one too. But how I like to play it is that I just ward in combination to my ganking patterns, right? So if I gank bottom, I'm just going to throw down a ward bottom, and then I have vision, right? That's just how it's going to go for me. And lastly, in terms of getting XP, this is very important, guys. Maybe you're not actually doing this yet, but that's a big mistake. Steal all the kills. You notice how I carefully time my right click to steal the Viper kill and then use my Aether Shock for the Leshrac kill. Very, very important, because we don't actually care about our teams. We're just greedy people who have no interest for the common good. And yeah, that's just the type of person I am. No, but I'm kidding. Obviously, it just kind of happens how it goes. That's a quick point I want to touch on. I don't understand why people always freak out about taking a core kill, or a core about a support taking the kill. Like, who cares? Just get the items and get your farm. Just play the game as we feed another kill. But really, hopefully you see the pattern here, guys. I'm just kind of bouncing back and forth and playing around my cooldowns, and when I don't have cooldowns, I shove the wave. If you can find out this pattern, right, you're going to have success, where it's just, look, run down the lanes and I'm looking at the minimap. So why can I push bottom here? Even though I see that Earthshaker, Nyx, and Leshrac are alive, why can I do this? Because I saw them on a minimap, and that is strictly it. So many players just don't ever look at it. I've had multiple people tell me that this is the case, and it's going to hold you back, period. It really, really, really will. So you have to start doing that. Look at the map, and then shove in waves, as well as play around your cooldowns. And when you have your cooldowns, buy some smokes. Stop wasting time, guys. Like, so many people are confused on, like, the best way to go up an MMR and why their carries, like, impacted games so much. When they're a support, there's like no way for them to get out. It's because you don't do anything. You're not trying to fulfill your job as having impact. Like, you just sit behind them all game and you hope they carry you. Of course they're going to have the impact of the game. You have to do something productive, right? You have to make plays with your other support. You can kill people as the 5 and the 4. Smoke with the offlaner. Smoke by yourself. Run down a lane to cause reactions. You have so many different options. And yet I see people just sit behind cores all game. It makes no sense. Be creative, guys. Like, if you're looking to get farmed, you can't just play 5-man Dota all game. It is basically my argument to not AFK, because what I'm saying is that you're essentially AFKing in the regard that when you sit behind your cores, you're just as much inactive as when you're split pushing, right? Even if you call it AFK farming, I think it actually has indirect impact of shoving in waves, forcing reactions, and getting the enemy teams to show on the minimap, which is very important in higher MMR games, so get used to it now. And so I just want to give one more final example before we wrap up this video on Lycan. And you might be like, well, Lycan, what does Lycan have to do with anything? Well, the relation here is that Lycan is a hero very similar to Shaman, where I believe that the pattern of playing him is very mistaken by players. They think, oh, I'm this like push hero, I have to push all the time, or like Shaman, I'm this control hero, I have to control people all the time. But I don't like that. I think that's kind of meh. I genuinely think it's kind of meh, right? So instead, what I heavily prefer, is that when Lycan players are playing Lycan, is that when they have their ultimate, they look for kills, and when they don't, they farm. And if you can make that contrast and equate it to a lot of heroes, it makes a lot of sense. If I'm Terrorblade, maybe I'll go farm Ancients when I have my meta up. If I'm Void with Chrono, maybe I'll look for a quick pick-off. If I'm Jug with Omnislash, I'll look to take a quick fight and then go back to farming. All these heroes with long cooldowns, you can play like this. Same thing with Earthshaker. Okay, like if I have my Echo Slam and no Blink Dagger, I'll try to take this fight with Echo, I'll get a pick-off, and then push in a wave. This method of just not wasting downtime and almost looking to just expend cooldowns and do other things, during the downtime of them is unbelievably efficient and effective at every state of the game, for every hero, in every bracket. And now, you see, I have the Refresher Orb, and the Refresher Orb for Shaman, very, very strong. You notice here, I throw it down on the tower, and there is nothing they can do. I do not need my carries. I don't need any help. I simply take their racks. So if you can't do this, if you haven't considered this as a legitimate option for support, well, then fine. Stay in your bracket, never adjust, and don't go up in MMR. But if you actually care about going up in MMR as a support, you'll start being creative. You'll come up with new ideas to actually have impact rather than just waiting for your prince, whatever it is, shining armor to come pick you up on the horse. Like fucking reality rift you into, plus 25. It doesn't make any sense, guys. Just stop making excuses, adjust to your games, and actually have some impact like all the other high MMR support players do. And, now that I've flamed you, I'm going to say that hopefully you've enjoyed the video. And if you did, please do like and subscribe. I'm just trying to give you guys as much value as possible. Hopefully you don't get offended by my brash criticism, but I really mean it in a positive intent. I just want people to start looking at the game differently in a regard where you can have impact no matter who you are, what hero, what role, if you identify different situations. If you look back at this game, I started dual lane, I even considered sniping courier, then I went to a tri lane, I split pushed, I smoked with Witch Doctor. There's so much variety, and that variety creates confusion in the enemy team, and that's impact. So yeah, hopefully now you also know how to farm. I got slightly off topic on this video, but I really sometimes I like to just talk about whatever comes to mind and what's important for what I've been reading in the comments, because I genuinely do read a lot of comments and I see what you guys are saying. I'm not kidding, I really, really do, and I like to kind of reflect on that and see what are people's issues by looking at that. So hopefully that makes sense to you, and you're learning things here on the GameLeap Dota 2 channel. So yeah, let me know if you are, let me know if you hate my guts, and I'll see you in the next one.
Your team does not deserve your support, but holy crap, do they need it! At gameleap.com, we have hundreds of guides teaching you how the best support players in Dota secretly carry their games with awful teammates without them even knowing it. Click on this link right now to take advantage of our special offer for a 25% discount and start your journey today.